Hello and welcome to Get Focused with Bill Kay and Gina Fay. Gina and I are going to have a recap episode here of I completed my first triathlon today. Hello, Gina. How are you?
I'm excited for you, Bill. Wait, so the first thing I want to ask you is you completed in an hour and 19 minutes, right?
Yes.
What were
Going.
you anticipating?
My goal was to be at my goal was to be an hour and a half.
That's what I thought.
So
Amazing.
it ended up working out better than
Wow.
anticipated, right?
Wow. How are you?
So
Tell me. Tell me.
okay. So I don't know. It was exciting. It was fun. A lot of fun actually. Uh the day started off first it was a little tough getting to sleep yesterday.
I can
You
imagine.
know, we went and picked up the packet and everything on Friday.
Yep.
And then yesterday they had you could go to the location and they had like a little event. So they had different tents set up and products and stuff like that. And they went over what the rules were and what you can and cannot do, and the routes and where the
Mhm.
transitions were, because there's a lot more to it than just the actual events. They call them disciplines. So the swimming, the running, and the cycling, or swim, cycling, running. So there's a lot to it, right? And you have to be able to get changed, what to wear, how
That's
to
what I,
wear it,
that's what I was
things
going
like
to ask
that.
you. I was going to ask because I was trying to visualize doing this. And
Right.
and are you saying that the swimming part was first?
Correct. So,
Oh, wow. It would have made sense.
so
So I
go
was
ahead.
thinking that it would have made sense because the turnaround, getting yourself dried and into clothes is
Well, the interesting thing about that, because so the swimming you can either swim in a
wet.
wetsuit or not, right? And the I don't know if you've ever had to put a wetsuit on.
Never.
So I never put one on until 2-3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and it is quite interesting getting one of those on,
It's a
because
challenge, right?
correct, the whole purpose of the wetsuit is to keep water out and you warm and dry, right? And maybe not necessarily completely dry because it
Dry,
will
but
let
yeah,
water in.
yeah.
But
I heard
so
you're
it,
supposed to pee in it.
I don't know. I haven't.
That's
Not
what
at
I
this
heard.
point.
All right. All right. All right.
So and the wetsuit for a triathlete is a little bit different. So a
Yeah.
swimmer,
Yeah.
it's made differently than,
Yeah.
say, a wetsuit for a surfer.
And it was affecting your arm.
Well, it was a little tighter,
Yeah.
in the shoulders, right? Because it becomes restrictive. Because I've been training with it over the past couple of weeks since I
Right.
got it,
Right.
and so that's the interesting point. But back to it, you would never be able to, after cycling or running, you
Put a
wouldn't be able to.
wetsuit on
Yeah,
because you're so sweaty.
well, just sweaty. You swell
You swell.
because
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. 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 But at least everybody's in the same boat.
correct,
Everybody has to get their whatever they have on off
right,
and dry themselves down and put their running or,
correct.
cycle
So
on.
so the biggest challenge for me, I knew that once I was on the bike, I would I would be able to
You'll be
catch a
good.
lot of time.
Yeah.
So I was always nervous, and I still am. I mean, it's just because this one's done, it doesn't. But was the swim, because I've just learned how to swim and I've been practicing
And
it.
then the oceans
And correct. Well, now this one was in the bay, so it wasn't
in the
there
bay.
wasn't
Yeah.
rough water, but the difference between the ocean and the bay was pretty interesting because there's a lot more growth under the water in the bay
Yeah.
compared to in the ocean.
Yucky stuff
And
on your feet. Yucky feet.
well, yeah, but even just the swimming part, because you can see, so you're seeing everything, and there's a lot of seaweed and different vegetation growing up from the bottom.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
it's distracting, and it's pretty interesting. But my swim ended up, because the distances were, the swim is 500 meters. So you go in the water, and it's a water start. So you go in, and then they count off the last 10 seconds before you go, and you start from you're treading water, so you're not touching. you start from that position. And I did that in, I'm reading my stats here. I did the swim in 14 minutes.
Wow.
And then you come in, you have to pull. So you come up the boat ramp, and there's this chute that this path that you run into. They call it the transition area. That's where your bike and all your gear is. So I had to transition into my gear. Now I've never done this before, so I had, before the race even begins, I was there at 5 o'clock. I didn't my wave wasn't until 7:17, so I was there for a little over 2 hours, and so I laid my bike out. I laid on, you put a towel down. I had my cycling shoes with my cycling socks and my helmet and gloves and all that stuff, and then my running stuff right next to that. And you find out where you're at. And I walked the course to where I knew where the transitions were. So where you got on and off the bike, you got in and off the run, and in and out of the swim, right? So 14 minutes was pretty good. I was
Yeah.
actually shocked that I swam. It felt like an hour.
Oh, really?
The swim. Yeah,
Wow.
because I struggled so much. It was, you know, when I swim, when I'm doing my training, it's a pool, right? So I swim and swim, but you stop and
I
you
know.
take,
And you turn around. Yeah.
yeah, whether it's 10 seconds
Yeah.
or whatever it is, you still have that quick break.
This was a non-stop swim.
Right. And your adrenaline, because it's race and your adrenaline, and it wasn't that, I don't think I went out too fast, but I really felt gassed real quick.
Huh?
And you know, so I didn't swim the whole time. I had to flip over. I did a backstroke for a little while, and then
Oh, wow.
catch my breath and flip
Wow.
over. So it was quite fascinating, the sensation. So I'm thinking, man, a lot of people went ahead of me in my wave, my age group, but I was thinking, man, I'm like way slow. Am I going
Big
to make
time.
it?
Yeah.
Things like that. So I just kept plugging away at it. And then I got out of the water, and then I was like, okay, that's done. Now,
Now
catching
for
my
the fun
breath.
stuff. Now for the fun stuff. The stuff I know.
Correct.
That. Yeah.
So, and you're right, though. It is. So under my wetsuit, you have to have something on. So, because you can't just get naked in the middle of the transition area, you know.
Oh, bummer.
So I had my cycling bibs on, which are my shorts with my, suspender, all one piece. But so that's soaking wet, right? When you take off the wetsuit.
Yeah.
But, I throw my cycling jersey on, tried to dry my feet as much as I could, and put my socks on. So, and then off you go. You run out, you have your helmet and everything, and then you get on your bike and you're off for 10 miles. And I was able to maintain 20 plus miles an hour for the route, which put me at a little bit. What did I do? I did. Well, bike was 31 minutes and 5 seconds. My first transition took me 3 minutes and 56 seconds. So it's pretty cool. They give you an ankle. There's this little digital ankle bracelet.
Yeah. Huh.
And there's these mats. And every time you pass the mat, it picks up your time.
Uh-huh.
So it actually tracks when you go into the water, when you came out of the water, when you went into the transition area, and when you come out.
I
So
see. Good.
so it took me 3 minutes and 56 seconds to go from swimming to biking.
That's not
And
bad
then
at all, right?
no. And I was actually a minute faster when I went from biking to running. It took me 2 minutes and 55 seconds. And then my run was 27 minutes. So yeah. And 1 hour, 19 minutes, and 10 seconds. My overall position, there were 653 people. I was 357.
Oh,
So
right in the
about
middle
50.
of
Yeah. Right in the middle for my very first one.
That's good.
My division, I don't know what my division consisted of, but I was 30th out of 46, it says. But again, I don't know how many were in my division. Oh, my division, it says 45 to 49, but I guess because my birthday's in July, they moved me up in age.
Okay.
because I'm 44, technically, by birth
Yeah,
date.
you're not long before you turn 45.
And I was 259th out of 399 men.
That's really amazing.
So not too bad. And a lot of the guys, because you get to talk to them and everything in the beginning. A lot of the guys had, they've been doing this.
Yeah.
So. But everyone said everyone's real nice, and oh, you'll love this one. This is the best one to do your first one. It's a lot of fun because some of them can be, some of the routes are very challenging.
Yeah.
With their, well, you see the one they do out by you. That's extreme heat and
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. And what's the amazing was there were 7-year-old kids coming across the finish lines and
Wow, no kidding.
yeah. So,
That's
and there
cool.
was special needs athletes. So there were people wheelchairs that someone assisted, whether it be they put them in a raft for the swim, so someone will pull them in a raft. So it's pretty fascinating. And then there was, I guess they were doing a documentary or something of a woman who, because a lot of people that are facing different things. I mean, even myself, what made me decide to do this was, I turned 44 last year, and I wanted to do something and challenge myself, and I decided to go after this, right? And there's people that, for whatever their story is or whatever their reasoning is, but they were following one woman around who obviously she's battling. She was a larger woman, so, but she was right there, and that's the best thing about it is, yes, it's timed and everyone's trying to do it in a time, but in the same aspect, everyone's just trying to complete it. And the fact that you complete it is an accomplishment all in itself.
Is enough. Yeah.
Right. So,
Very cool. Congratulations.
well, thank you. Anthony rode his bike over.
Okay.
So he got there, and Anna was with me the whole time. She got up at 4:45 and came with me. So she got some good, I'm going to post the pictures, but she got some really good pictures of me coming in and out of the water and the bike and different things. So
Excellent. Excellent.
yeah. So
So
I'm
what's
excited
next
for the next one.
one?
I don't know. There's a Carlsbad one. There's one in Carlsbad. And, so I'm going to look into that one. My coach wants me to do at least 4 or 5 this year. So this was the shortest one out of the distances, but it was really designed for me to get a feel for it. And you think about it, an hour and 19 minutes is not a big chunk of time, right? Meaning, doing the longer distances, the 70.3s, they take 4 hours. So, 1 hour, it didn't seem like a long time, but it's an hour, and multiply that by, 4. So you have to build to that.
Yeah, and especially considering all the effort and time you put into training for it.
Right.
An hour and 20 minutes and it's done. It's like,
Right.
yeah.
Well, that was the thing. Like, even afterwards, when I'm walking around, I knew it was over, but it didn't, it felt great, but it was like, okay, what's next?
Okay, what can I do now?
Right. Because I knew this was to get the feel for it,
This was the teething one.
Correct. And it was really like a tease in a sense of, okay, because I felt even at the end, I pushed myself. I'm not saying I didn't, but I knew I could still do more, at the end. Like, I know I could.
You had something left.
Correct. Yeah. It wasn't like, oh my God, I have to lie down now.
Stop now. Yeah. Good for you.
So
that's so exciting.
That was my eventful Sunday morning. And then we did grocery shopping.
Okay.
I don't know which was more challenging.
Yeah.
The grocery store or the triathlon.
Yeah, I hear you.
My sister did she did the Broad Street run today, half marathon. So
Wow. Where,
yeah, it was an
where,
eventful day. That was in Philadelphia.
wow.
Yeah, she runs in different events
Very
throughout the
cool.
year.
She younger or older than you?
She's older, 3.5 years.
Good
So
for her.
yeah.
Was she an inspiration for you?
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily know. I mean, yes and no, I would say. We have similar stubbornness, I call it. We when we set our minds to something, it's really we want to it's a challenge and we want to accomplish it. And especially
Wow.
when it comes to sports. She's very competitive in sports, and so am I. It's just how my father is as well. So it's the household we were raised in with
Hmm.
sports. Even cheering for our favorite teams, whether it be the
Hmm.
Eagles, and we look at it differently than some people, especially I learned a lot living here in Southern California. There's a lot of distraction, and sports isn't the main focus, whereas in Philadelphia, sports is the main focus. you
Why do you
know
think that is?
Well, and you're from the Northeast. I think that part of the country, because you have, and even in the Midwest, Chicago, and I've never been to Minnesota, but I feel like the towns that deal with a different, it's not sunny and beautiful all the time, that, you tend to focus on your sporting teams a little bit because it gives you an outlet throughout the colder shut-in type of times. Along with more of the blue collar cities tend to um, gravitate towards the sports. They kind of live through their sporting teams, right, and their success. You
It's like
know,
I think of, Karl Marx said religion is the opiate of the masses.
right?
Did you hear that
Yes,
saying?
yes.
Well, part of me thinks that sports are the opiate of the masses as well.
Oh yeah, and
I see people get so head up. It's kind of scary.
it is, and I can get I can get excited about it, but not. It doesn't drive me. Meaning my sporting teams, right? Um, or even when I'm playing, because I play soccer in a competitive league, and as much as I want to win, I'm out there to have a good time as well.
Yeah, right. You
And I
can't
think
get into,
that's
yeah,
yeah, I think that's more because of my age than per se, even today. Well, there's still I do want to beat people though. You know,
you're competitive enough.
Yeah, but not to the point where it ruins the rest of my day because I
Yeah, or it
didn't.
absorbs you. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah, same with I mean, today I was watching the Sixers, the basketball team from Philadelphia, is in the playoffs, and they lost. And did it disappoint me? Yeah, I wanted to see them win, but it doesn't define the rest of my
Yeah, it doesn't
day.
ruin your whole week.
Correct. Yeah,
That's good.
where there are people that, oh,
Oh, I know.
it's an emotional
Yeah.
attachment.
I know, I know, I know, I know. And when their
So
team doesn't win, they're suicidal.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, it's quite interesting. But I do believe that has a lot to do with, the blue collar, the working cities that may or may not enjoy what they do for a living. They do it because
Right.
they're
They have,
providing,
yeah,
and
yeah.
this is their entertainment, their escape.
They're
You
distracted.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, their distraction. And why
Yeah.
shouldn't it be? I mean, especially when I look at these players and it's what they wanted to be, as a boy or a girl. They wanted to grow up and be a professional athlete, and that it wasn't in it for them,
Yeah.
but they want the people that are in representing them to be as passionate as they are, you know? And I don't think that's much to ask, right?
Hey, If it works, you know, keeps the masses happy, keeps them,
Well,
you know.
sports has been around forever, right?
Oh,
Roman
I know.
times, the gladiators, that was
Oh, I know.
sports. I know it was battle to the death, but
Well, it
a
was
little
bread
bit
and,
more.
you know, the expression bread and circuses.
No,
Bread and circuses is how the Romans kept the masses happy. They
right?
threw them bread and they put on big circuses in the Colosseum.
It's fascinating, right?
Bread and circuses, yeah. That's been around for years as well. People, they know that works. I mean, it works. It keeps people sedated. It keeps people happy. And I can think of worse things. I mean, you know, but it's sort of
Right,
that
with sports.
interesting.
We're not battling to the death and
No, no.
so
But it's interesting to see how incredibly riled up people get, how
yes, over.
the
Mhm.
degree of importance they put on it, and how crushed they are. You know, when I mean, I can't. I have trouble wrapping my head around it, to be honest. I cannot relate. I cannot relate at all, at all, at all. And
No, and that's what makes it unique, right? Because
yeah,
it's
it's
not
not
for
for everyone.
everyone.
Yep.
And there's a lot of things that you enjoy
That
or
not everybody enjoys.
exact, and that's what's
Yeah.
beautiful about where we are and how we exist, right?
Yep. Yep.
And
Yeah.
to enjoy it together.
Yeah. People don't have to get into what I'm into. I enjoy it, and that's enough. But boy, oh boy, I don't get like crazy like that though.
No,
Nothing
no.
gets that riled up, I gotta say.
But I do have to say, because this was the first time I competed in a singular type of sport, right? So every sport that
Yeah,
I've ever
on
I've
teams
I've
before. Yeah.
yes, I play soccer, I play
Yeah.
baseball, and they're all team sports.
Yeah.
So, it's you're picking each other up,
Yeah.
you have to work together.
Yep.
So
Very
this is quite
different for you.
fascinating to me
Very different.
because
Yeah.
it's all on you.
Yeah.
But that's the point too, right? Where, if I don't have the support of my family and I don't have the support of my coach and the people around me, then I'm not going to be as successful as I am with their support.
No, of course.
So even though it's not necessarily when I'm out there on the course, it's just me. There's still a lot of moving parts and support and team to get you to that point, you know?
Hmm.
So whether it be the hydration and the food and just the rest or giving me the time to train and things like that. So it's still, well, that's why I have my coaches, the team that I'm on's hat on.
I
So,
I don't understand. Tell me about the hat.
well, my coach, it's team, let's see if you could see it, Team Terrell.
Okay.
That's his team and he coaches me. So
What do
he
you
was
mean? What do you mean he has a team though?
so he has a team. So people hire him and they work and he teaches them. He was a professional triathlete. He was a professional swimmer prior to that. And he teaches people from all over the world how to compete and how to train and uh, get faster and better and stronger
Okay, so
in the different
you
disciplines.
don't necessarily interact with each other as a team does. You just all are part of his like his group.
Correct.
Oh,
And we train together.
oh,
So
you do.
yes.
Oh,
So
okay.
well, because um, you can get out there. So I do a lot of training on myself, but I also do a lot of training with my coach and different people within his organization, our team, right? So um, when you go on rides, for example, it's it's always good to have someone to push you. So if other people are stronger in whether it be going uphill or just flat out cycling, then you trying to keep up with them will help you become stronger.
Sure.
Just like with running and swimming, like because he took me out Friday and we swam out in the ocean,
Yep.
and he's teaching me and helping me become a better swimmer. So that's what I mean there. Even though once the race starts, it's an individual
But you work with
competition.
one another and you kind of compete with one another when you're training.
Correct.
Got
In
it.
order to increase your abilities.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a little both.
Yeah. That's good because you like team play. You like team stuff anyway.
Well, yeah, definitely. It's
That's
the
important to you.
camaraderie of it. It definitely because I look at what we do in life as a team. Well, that's why I like being a coach
Yep. Yeah.
because we're in this together. You're not alone.
Yep.
What you're facing is individual to you, but you're not the first one to ever face it and
And you
different
have
things like
people
that.
behind you as you're trying to do.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
help you, to be there, support.
Yep. Very cool.
So, well, thank you for listening.
Oh, I was very excited for you. I knew that was, I mean, it was like 6 o'clock when I got your text. I was awake. I don't leave my alerts on when I'm asleep, but I was proud. I was
Well,
like, "Damn,
thank you.
that's impressive."
It was
And
fun.
yeah, yay.
I look forward to the next one.
You have a good night's sleep tonight, I bet.
Yeah, I took a little nap.
Did you?
Yeah, about 15, 20 minutes maybe.
Yeah, you were up early. But you
Yeah,
usually get up early, don't you?
yeah, I usually do. It was a little harder going to sleep last night, so I think about 10:30 I fell asleep and
It's Christmas tomorrow. No, no, it's just the triathlon.
right. Well, it was like a Christmas to me, right?
I know it. Yep.
Because the normal Christmas is more about the kids.
Yeah. And this
So
is
this
all about
was
you and your achievement.
yeah, so it was a lot of fun.
Excellent.
So, well, thank you, Gina.
My
And
pleasure.
thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely talk more about next things and how things and
Yep.
as I digest more of the mental,
Yeah, it's
think
interesting to talk about that too as it comes to you. Yeah.
yeah, because it was definitely challenging to push myself, especially in the swimming part, like I said,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
where
you were a little iffy about the swimming, I know.
yeah, and it's looking back on it with the time that it took, I was surprised. Like I said, I was really
I know
surprised
it felt
at
like an
the
hour.
yeah, because I really there were points where I was like, "Whew, am I going to make this?" You know. So, it's
Yeah, you
quite
made it.
interesting.
Good for you.
So, well, thank you, and we'll see you again next week, right?
All right, Bill. Yep.